Good morning, students. Once again, I welcome you all. Presently, we are dealing with the annihilation of caste, written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. And so far, we have discussed a good amount of portion from this particular lesson. And as you know very well, that the kind of ideas which are processed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, I tried my level best to pass on the same to you all from this online platform. Yesterday, the last point that I discussed was about the caste and the caste system. If you minutely observe, caste is not a physical object according to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He believed that caste is a notion. It is a state of the mind. The destruction of caste does not therefore mean the destruction of a physical barrier. And that's why he said it means a notional change. If you really want to get rid of the caste system in our country, until and unless you put in the efforts to change the mindset of the people, the caste system cannot be annihilated. According to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, caste may be bad. Caste may lead to the conduct so gross as to be called man's inhumanity to man. All the same, it must be recognized that the Hindus observe caste not because they are inhuman or wrong-headed, but because they are deeply religious. See now, you need to understand this particular point of view as discussed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Here, he is trying to convey us that caste may be bad. It is a kind of conduct or the conduct of the people which seems to be the result of one's bad conduct and behavior to another man. So it can be called man's inhumanity to other human beings. So here, he is trying to promote the idea that Hindus observe caste not because they are inhuman, but because they are deeply religious. So until and unless you change the notional setup of the people, the caste system from our country cannot be eradicated. So according to him, people are not wrong in observing caste. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says, in my view, what is wrong is their religion and the practice that has really inculcated this notion of caste. If this is correct, then obviously the enemy you must grapple with is not people who observe the caste, but the Shastras which teach them this religion of caste. So here, he is trying to hammer the fundamental reason of caste system in our country. So in the course of my preparation, when I was just searching some more information in this respect on internet, I happened to come across the website called www.indictoday.com, and I happened to read one article written by Nitin Sridhar, published on July 27, 2020. The virtual background that you could see right now, I have taken it from that particular website in order to pass on the information in this respect. So here, if you see the background behind me, the virtual background, which is projected on the screen now, that gives you the classification of the caste-based system in India. You have the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. This is a four-level or four-tiers caste system which is in practice in India for a long period of time. In this respect, Nitin Sridhar says, in regards to the classification of people into various varnas, based on their guna swabhava, Hindu scriptures say that there are only four varnas, that is the clear-cut division of swabhavas. And he has referred to the Manusmriti 10.4. So here, I would like to say, whenever we talk about the caste system in our country, we talk about the four tiers or the four levels which are generally observed among the Hindu communities in India. And they are the Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. But if you go through the text which is processed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, now he is very clearly trying to convince us that the followers of this caste system are not bad. The people are not bad. What is bad actually? Something that is taught by the religion to the people. And here he is straightaway blaming to the Shastras, which basically teach the Hindu people about this religion of caste, this principle of caste, this practice of caste. Now, I would like to, take a couple of minutes to explain you what do you mean by Shastras and all. When I happen to read in this respect also, I could read some documents from www.quora.com, quora.com. I came across this information. According to this website, there are 18 Shastras, which are also called 18 Vidyas. So in Sanskrit, it is called Ashtadasha Vidya. Ashta means 8, Dasha means 10. So in all total, 18 Vidyas or the realms of philosophy are there. What are they? 4 Vedas are there: Rig Veda, Yajurveda, Samaveda, Atharva Veda. You have 6 Vedangas: Shiksha, Vyakarana, Nirukta, Chanda, Jyotisha, and Kalpa. Then you have 4 Upangas: Puranas, Nyaya, Mimamsa, Dharma Shastra. Then you have 4 Upavedas also: Ayurveda, Dhanurveda, Gandharva Veda, and Arthashastra. So if you count them together, you will find that 4 Vedas plus 6 Vedangas, total 10. Then you have 4 Upangas, 14, plus 4 Upavedas, 18. So these are the 18 Shastras according to the Hindu scriptures. And each of the philosophies like Mimamsa or Nyaya Shastra or Sankhya Shastra, each of the Shastra has a separate theory and has a separate founder also. So this is the concept of Shastra. And here, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is trying to convince us that the kind of practice that the people belonging to Hindu religion have, it is all because of all these Shastras that has promoted the Varna Vyavastha. As I said about it, what is that Varna Vyavastha? You have the 4 Varnas there: the Brahmins, the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. So this is the actual concept that he's trying to promote over here. And until unless this notional change takes place in the mind of the followers of Hinduism, this caste system cannot be eradicated at all. Now you see here how Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is trying to promote his idea in the next paragraph of this lesson. Criticizing and ridiculing people for not interdining or intermarrying or occasionally holding intercaste dinners and celebrating intercaste marriages is a futile method of achieving the desired end. The real remedy is to destroy the belief in the sanctity of Shastras. This is one of the very prominent aspect of our existence is being discussed by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. What is he saying here? Simply criticizing and ridiculing the people, those who are not, getting into the affairs like interdining or intermarrying. And if at all you insist them to do the same, according to B.R. Ambedkar, these are the futile methods of achieving the desired goal. If you really want to create the equal status for everybody in the social point of view, the actual remedy for this problem is to destroy the belief in the mind of the Hindu people about the sanctity of the Shastras. What do you expect to succeed? If you allow the Shastras to continue to mold the beliefs and opinions of the people, as long as the people continue to believe in such kind of notions which are being adhered by the people of different castes and religion, different castes in our country, you should change their notion first. You should put an effort to destroy the belief, which is a kind of inhuman treatment given by the human beings to the another human beings. So if you really want to destroy that, first of all, destroy the belief in the sanctity of the Shastras. Whatever is objectionable, whatever is bad, we need to remove from this religion, and then only a sort of equality will be, established in the society. How do you expect to succeed? If you allow the Shastras to continue to mold the beliefs and opinions of the people, no, not to question the authority of the Shastras, to permit the people to believe in their sanctity and their sanctions, and then to blame the people and criticize them for their acts as being irrational and inhuman, is an incongruous way of carrying on social reform. See, here you realize that everybody has his own notion of life. Everybody follows a particular religion, and that religion becomes a sentimental attachment of an individual. Similarly, it happens in the respect of the Hindu people also. So simply blaming them or criticizing them for the act of being irrational and inhuman is an incongruous way of carrying on social reform. If you really want to establish something better, then you need to change the irrational and inhuman ways of the people. Reformers working for the removal of untouchability, including Mahatma Gandhi, do not seem to realize that the acts of people are merely the result of their beliefs inculcated in their minds by the Shastras. Here, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar is straightaway making a comment that the social reformers like Mahatma Gandhi, who is very conscious of removing the untouchability from our country, from our society, who worked hard for the Harijans, no doubt. But here, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says the social reformers like Mahatma Gandhi also do not seem to realize that the act of the people or the acts of the people are merely the result of their beliefs. And what kind of beliefs the Hindus have? They have a strong sentimental attachment, involvement, and beliefs which are inculcated in their minds by different Shastras. Already I told you about 18 different, areas of study, or as I called them, the Ashtavidyas, right? Or 18 Shastras. So the people are under the influence of all these ideological strands which are promoted by different Shastras. And until unless you remove or you destroy this sentimental connection of the people with the Shastras, and especially the elements which are bad elements over there, the change will never take place. No wonder that such efforts have not produced any results. Of course, he also admires that whatever efforts are being put in by Mahatma Gandhi, of course, there is a success, no doubt. You also seem to be erring in the same way as the reformers working in the cause of removing untouchability. To agitate for and to organize intercaste dinners and intercaste marriages is like forced feeding brought about by artificial means. Now you see the criticism made by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Of course, there are a few people, there are a few reformers, social reformers, those who are trying their level best to organize the intercaste marriages, intercaste dinners, trying to bring the people from different, castes and creed under one umbrella. They are trying to create a kind of social equality. Of course, these efforts are there, no doubt. But when you talk about the productivity of all these efforts, how far the people are really getting rid of the notional change and their beliefs in the Shastras. Let us make every man and woman free from the thraldom of Shastras. Cleanse their minds of the pernicious notions founded on the Shastra. And he or she will interdine and intermarry without your telling him or her to do so. Here, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says, first of all, we need to make everybody free. Everybody in the sense, all the men and women of our society, free from the thraldom of the Shastras. We need to clean their minds. A sort of brainwash is needed. We need to clean their minds of the pernicious notions, notions which are founded on the basis of Shastras. And then you should really find that without you telling them or without any reformer to tell them to join some intergyning event or intermarriage kind of thing, they should do on their own. That should be a self-directed move. Then only you will say that some sort of social change is going to take place. In the subsequent part of the lesson, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says, it is no use seeking refuge in quibbles. It is no use telling people that the Shastras do not say what they are believed to say if they are grammatically read and logically interpreted. What matters is how the Shastras have been understood by the people. You must take the stand at Bhagavad Gita. You must take the stand at Buddha too. You must take the stand which Guru Nanak took. You must not only discard the Shastras, you must deny their authority, as did Buddha and Guru Nanak. You must have courage to tell the Hindus that what is wrong with them is their religion, the religion which has produced in them this notion of the sacredness of caste. Will you show that courage? See now how effectively Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has concluded his ideas or thoughts on this particular concept of annihilation of caste. Towards the end of his speech, he says, it is no use seeking refuge in quibbles. It is no use telling people that Shastras do not say what they are believed to say. If you really go through all these Ashtadasha Vidyas, means 18 Shastras, if you minutely, grammatically, and logically read and interpret the Shastras, definitely you will have a better understanding of the Shastras. Here, Dr. Ambedkar says, an individual, a learned individual, who grammatically reads Shastras and logically interprets them, he should really come to a conclusion and a standpoint as it was already taken up by Lord Buddha and Guru Nanak. He admires and appreciates the standpoint or the kind of point of view which was adopted by Lord Buddha and Guru Nanak. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar also says, you must not only disregard or discard the Shastras, you must deny their authority, as it was done by Lord Buddha in his time and subsequently by Guru Nanak as well. Every individual who feels that he is the victim of discrimination, he should have the courage to tell the Hindus what is wrong with them and what is objectionable in their religion. If you go through this, you will realize that the kind of notion about the Varna system or the Varnas or 4 Varnas in Hindu people or among the Hindu people is something really objectionable. And if you are courageous enough to tell the Hindus that these Varnas are objectionable and it is a kind of inhuman treatment given by some human to the another human is something really unacceptable. Do you have the courage to talk about this notion of the sacredness of the caste, which is being followed by the Hindus in our country? Will you show this courage to talk about it open-mindedly? With this question, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar concludes his speech. I just repeat again the question which is raised by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He says towards the end, you must have courage to tell the Hindus that what is wrong with them, with their religion. The religion which has produced in them this notion of sacredness of caste. And finally he says, will you show that courage? And it ends with a question mark. He is trying to be interactive with you all in order to discuss the things and open the topic for further speculation for everybody. So this is how Dr. B.R. Ambedkar expressed his views in this respect. And I hope you have learned it in these 3 classes since I started to talk on this topic, right? With a very open mind. Right in the beginning, I told, please do not, carry any prejudice in your mind before listening to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and the topic that is the annihilation of caste. I know that everybody, including me, everybody has his own caste, his own religion, his own creed, his own set of values in life. But the kind of discussion that we had in the course of these 3 lessons or 3 lectures that I delivered on the annihilation of caste as written by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. So please, none of you should take it personal, neither the student, those who are listening to me online, nor any audience who will watch this video in future. Please don't take it personal. The ideas which are shared by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar are explained in order to understand them better and nothing beyond that. So thank you very much for patient listening, and I'll come up once again with a new topic tomorrow, that is in the next class. Thank you very much.